Welcome back, guys. You're back with two axles, back on the Triumph. In today's video we're going to get this thing started, hopefully. We're going to put some new plugs in, we're going to put some the new coils in which I've purchased from eBay. We'll get them in. We're going to do a compression test like I said, and we're also going to just put the boroscope down the cylinders to make sure everything's hunky-dory to get this started. I can't see any reason why it won't start, but if you want to find out as well as I'm going to find out, stay tuned. Right, guys, so we're back. If you remember in the last video, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch video 1, watch video 2, then you can get the full idea of what's happening with this bike. When we pulled this air cover off, we realised that there's one plug missing here for whatever reason, and there's two plugs here, so I'm just going to whip these two plugs out now and we're going to see what kind of condition they're in. Might give us a better indication of how the bike is. Just crack them loose. Just pull them out. And then once we pull the plugs out, we're going to get the boroscope down the cylinders to see how healthy the cylinders are. And then we're going to go for a compression test. Once we've done the compression test, then we're going to get the airbox back on, put the new plugs in, sorry, get the coils in, and the new coils which I purchased off eBay. They are second-hand ones, but I'm hoping they'll be alright. Put them coils in, and then also we'll just put the airbox back on, get the battery loosely fitted back on. I'm not going to bolt it down or anything, and then we're going to go for the start. I can't see any reason why it wouldn't start after that, because we've got everything that it needs to start. So if you look at these, the plugs are pretty black, so it has been running rich at some point, so it's good to put some new plugs in. And yeah, so then we whip the other one out, and then we'll get the new plugs in. Right, guys, so we're going to get the boroscope down the actual cylinders. I'm just going to see how the cylinders are looking. What I'm looking for is rust, primarily on the actual pistons, and we'll see what it's showing to us. So let's get it switched on. So we'll get them now, then I'll have a look and I'll show you guys what I'm seeing. So this is the one without the actual spark plug inside. So if we get those down here, oh, it looks pretty healthy to me. So this is the one without the spark plug in. Right, so that's the first one. So I'm pretty happy with that. The problem is with this camera that I've got, it's only a bit of a cheap one, so it don't rotate, so we can't really check the walls. But I'm hoping from looking what we saw on that piston that the cylinders will be fine, the holes. But we'll find out that if it starts, any smoke that comes out or anything, like if it's burning any oil. Let me just try and get it. It's a bit of a fiddly job, this. Alright, so that's the second cylinder. Again, the piston looks good. Yep. And then we're going to check the last one. That one, the piston is facing at the top. However, we can see that it doesn't look too bad. It is a bit dark on that piston, but I'm not too concerned about that, to be fair. Right, let's whip these new spark plugs in, and then we'll get the coils. Right, guys, so we've got the new plugs here. So the plugs that need to go in the speed triple are the CR6 EIA-9 7967. So these are the plugs if anybody's wanting to get them. Like I did get these off Amazon, and they were £35 or £36. So we'll get these in now. I know a lot of people do the gap checking, and don't worry, I've already checked these gaps with the feeler gauge, and they are in tolerance and in spec. So we'll get them in now. when you're putting these spark plugs in, you need to make sure that you're torquing them up to spec. You find a lot of people and they will over tighten them, and it can strip the threads in the bolt in the head. So what you do, what I do, I put them in hand tight first. I'll get them all in hand tight first, and then we'll torque them. Normally on the actual box itself, it'll give you the torque spec. On this particular one, it doesn't. However, I have Googled it, and it does tell me that the Triumph spark plugs are set between 12 to 15 Newton meters. I'd always go for the higher end, so 15 Newton meters we're going to torque it at, and we'll torque them down, so then I know that they're set properly and they're not going to come loose. With these spark plugs, they are iridium, so they are long lasting, and these are part of the 12,000 mile service. And I'm hoping in this video we can get this bike started, and then once it's started, then we know how healthy the engine is, and then if everything's all and good, then we'll crack on and we'll get the 12,000 mile service done over the next video or so, and then I'm going to get it MOT'd, and then we'll take it out for the first ride. That's the best case scenario. So this is the plug that was out, and it's right. So that's tight. Right. So like I said, we are going to torque these up to spec. So we are going to use the torque wrench. Like I say, you don't over tighten, because if you over tighten, like I say, you can strip the bolt. So when we're going to torque them, we're going to set it up at 15 Newton meters. So we'll get this set up now. Right, so these are set 15 Newton meters, and like I say, you don't need to over tighten them. You just need to make sure that they're not just going to come loose. So like I said before, when you're pulling it, you just gently, and you should hear the click. Right, so once you hear the click, then you know it's torqued up to specification. And then the last one, this is the one that was off. Right, right, so we've got the plugs in. I was going to do one last check. We've got the plugs in, and now we get these coils in that I purchased off eBay. One second, it's just come out. Right, so I put the plugs in. Now we'll get the coils. Where did I put them coils? Oh, there they are. Right, so we'll open these coils up. I haven't had a look at them yet. I got them off eBay. We'll open them up, and then we'll see what condition those are in. Hopefully they'll be alright. Right, so we'll get these coils up, and like I said, they're off eBay. And hopefully they'll be alright. Sorry guys, I did rip the label off because I didn't want anybody to see my address. I'm sure you can understand. So the guy I bought these off, he did tell me they're off a running bike, so I'm hoping that they're alright. Alright, okay. Right, they look alright. You can't really tell with the coil until you put it on, really. I don't know what these markings are. Ah, okay, so he's marked them up so he can't send the old ones back. Well, there is no old one, so we can't send them back, can we? Right, that's that one. Oh, right, they must be made by Mitsubishi. If you look there, I don't know whether you can see it, but there is like a Mitsubishi sign. I don't know whether Mitsubishi made these for the Triumph. Unless it stands for something else. It looks like a Mitsubishi sign anyway. Right, yeah, like I say, we can't really see if they're indecent, but they look intact. So we'll get these back to the bike, and then we'll get them on the bike. Right, so we're back at the bike, so we'll get these coils in now. When you put them in, you just need to push them down, making sure that they get in there, but this one's a bit tight. I'll just get you closer, guys, so you can see what I'm doing. Right, so when you're pushing them down, you just need to push them, and you'll feel the spark plug hit onto the coil. if that makes sense. You hear a click. Once you hear that click, then you know the coil's in place. There is no specific way they don't go in any certain, in respect, like you can move them side to side. They don't have to go into any specific orientation, but they need to be facing this way because obviously we're going to plug them in with the plug. And you don't want any tension on the actual wires, so you'll figure it out if you're doing it yourself. That's number 2. Like I say, if this bike starts up today, we are going to be doing the 12,000 mile service, so this rocker cover and everything will have to come back off anyway to do the valve checks. So when we put this back together now, we'll just loosely get it all back on so I can go for the fire up of the bike. Right, so they're on. So you need to plug them in. When you plug them in, it's straightforward. Just click in. Right, it's starting to look a bit more like an engine now, isn't it? Right, so we're going to get this air cover back on. I don't think there's anything else I need to put this in. Oh my god, guys, honestly, you know what I forgot to do? We forgot to do the compression check. So we're going to pull the plugs back out. That's silly me. That shows how excited I was to try and get this started. Right guys, so like I said, stupid me, I'll get too ahead of myself. I've taken the plugs back out, taken the coils back out, and now we're going to do a compression test on the bike. Now to do the compression test, we're going to have to rest this battery somewhere. So I'm going to rest it down here, and we'll do the compression test. When you do the compression test, you need to make sure all the spark plugs are out, so it gives a proper reading. Normally you would ideally do a compression test on a warm engine, but because we can't get this started, you're going to have to do on a cold engine. Now according to Triumph and what I've been reading on some forums, on a cold engine we're looking around about 150 to 170 psi. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the battery back on, and then we'll get the compression test set up and we'll get it into cylinder number 1, and then we'll check all 3 cylinders and then we'll see what kind of compression we're getting. Right, so I've rigged up the battery, it's just rested over here. So we're going to get the compression test done now. We'll start with the cylinder that didn't have the spark plug in, and we'll see. Like I say, ideal scenario on a warm engine, but we can't do that. So we're looking, if we can get around about 150 psi, then that's good. But what we're also looking as well is that the E is even all the way across each cylinder, because if it's not even, then that's a problem. Right, so we've got the compression tester up. So if I bring your camera closer, and then you can watch it whilst I'm on the actual. So let me just rest it. Where can I rest it? Right, so if I bring this here, and you guys can see. Actually, let me just put the camera back. I will do the test in front of you, and then I'll show you the reading. So we'll just rest it. I'll rest that here. Find the keys, and then get this on. Right. So when you're doing the compression test, you just have to keep going until this needle stops on the dial, and then that will be your reading. So we're going for the first cylinder, the one, like I said, that didn't have the spark plug in. So here we go. Oh, fantastic! We got around 210, 215 psi. So I'll show you that. Get your camera closer. Yeah, so that's a cylinder that didn't have no spark plug in. So we're looking and hoping that they're all running across the similar kind of range. So we'll go on to the next cylinder. So we're going to go for cylinder the middle cylinder. Oh, that one's slightly higher. That's closer to 225 psi. Well, we'll do the last cylinder now. It's looking good, and they're all similar range. Obviously, the cylinder we didn't have the spark plug in. That's slightly lower, but nothing that's going to concern me. Well, we'll do the last cylinder now. And that one's on the higher end, and they're exactly bang on 225. So I'm going to pull this testing machine out now. I'm going to get the plugs back in, torque them back up, get the coils back in. I'm not going to show you how I'm going to do that again because I've already shown you. Like I say, it was my mistake that I didn't do this. So it's looking good. So we're going to have the plugs in, the coils back on, plug everything back in, get this airbox back on, and then we'll get the battery in, and then we'll go for the start. So I'll be right back with you. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to get all this stuff back on, because I don't need to show you how to put the air filter back on and everything, because that's already been done in the last video. So I'll get all that back on, I'll get it ready, I'll get back to you when everything's back, and then we'll go for that start. Right peeps, so I've got put the airbox back on. So we've got the airbox back on, we've got all the pipes in, plugs are in, battery is loosely fitted. I haven't put the brackets on for the battery yet, because we haven't seen if this starts. And plus I need to take all this back off again when I'm doing the valve clearances, so I didn't want to tighten it all down fully to spec. So everything looks like it's all plugged in. Just do one last check. Right, moment of truth. We're going to go for that start. Right, we're on now. We're going to get this started. We're going to do the fire, and hopefully this starts up. Everything's back. The coils are on. The plugs are on. We've done the compression test. That's looking good. What else have we done? Everything. We've done the oil. I can't see any reason why it won't start. The only thing I can think of it not starting now is either there's an electrical problem. I can't think of anything else. Right, let's go for it. Fuel pumps primed. Clutch is in. Let's go for it. Let's leave it running for about a minute or two. Let's get the engine a bit warmed up, and then we're going to check the temperature on the actual cylinders to make sure that they're all firing at the same time with the same heat. So I'm going to leave it running. I'm going to take you down there, and we're going to do a check on the temperature. So let me get you down here. Can't believe it, guys, it started. Right, so I'm going to get a thermometer out, and we're going to do a laser check on the head to see if everything's heated up properly. Right, so we're checking the thermometer, and I'm getting even 150 degrees so far. The heads, all three are firing on cylinder. If you look at the dash, we've got our engine light on. Fuel lights on, obviously. We've got the engine light, that's fine. Need to know about the engine lights on. Oh, we've got it started, guys. We've got it started. Right, guys, I have to do the exhaust sound. This SC48 sound is sick. Listen to this. Sounds absolutely mental. Right, guys, so we've got it started. That's a brilliant thing, and I'm so happy, honestly. I just wanted to find out what that engine management light is for, but like I say, it hasn't been started in some time. Right, I was going to bring it to the board. So it's going to put a cost here. So we've got the Triumph. So we've got a cost of £2,000 for the bike. We've done £100 for delivery. Oil is £30. We've got oil filter £30, and then we've got battery £30. Just going to add on here the coils. They were 120. So that's what we spent so far. What else have we got? Oh, the spark plugs. So spark plugs. They were 35. So I'm going to keep a tally of what's been spent, and then on the next video we're gonna, now we know it starts, we're gonna do the coolant change. We'll get the actual, we'll do the valve clearances, and then I'm going to tackle that chain as well, because remember in the first video it was pretty rusty. So if you like this, comment, subscribe, comment, subscribe, comment and subscribe. I can't say that enough, guys. I need your support to grow this channel. If you liked it, see you on the next one. If you haven't watched my other two videos, have a look at video 1, video 2, then come on to this one, then you know the journey. Great news, if we got it started. That was my biggest worry. It sounds healthy, sounds good. I'm not too sure why the first plug out when we bought it, the coils are missing. Maybe it's something to do with that energy management light, but I'll see if I can get that tackled, and if I'll get it resolved, I will let you guys know. But yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Hope you like watching. This is Two Axles. I'm Naeem. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Subscribe.